It's another week of This Week in Google Glass, and we're going to talk about what happened in Seattle. Somebody got kicked out for wearing Google Glass. How wrong is that? We're also going to talk about flashlights for Google Glass. We're going to talk about the stereo earbuds that you can now get for Google Glass, and how somebody cheated in poker using their Google Glass, and wigs too. All that next on This Week in Google Glass. I sounded like one of those voices, those speaking voices. This week in Google Glass. Anyway, my name is Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine. Think Magazine. Put in a geekazine.com. You can find my Twitter handle over at Geekazine, and of course, my email address is jeff@twig.tv. That's with 2 G's. This week in Google Glass. twig.tv, where you can go and find all the cool stuff. All the cool podcasts and the shows that we do This Week in Google Glass every single Monday for Tuesday consumption, learning about Google Glass. And with me, as always, is my cohort in Twig Crime, Mr. Luke Wallace. How you doing this week, Luke?
Doing great,
all
Jeff.
Right.
How you doing?
And how can people get a hold of you?
So, I'm Luke Luca on Twitter, LukeEluca, and Luke at twig.tv. That's TWIGG.tv. So if you got any questions, or you just got your glass, maybe you got in through an invite or something else, and you want to ask us some questions or get some tips and tricks, email us and check out the website, like Jeff said.
All right. Did you do anything interesting this week? Take any good pictures or anything like that?
So there was this holiday last week. It was called Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you celebrate, but yeah. Had a bunch of family in, and Black Friday after that with shopping. Did a little bit of shopping, but nothing too crazy. And had a nice weekend. Put up some Christmas lights.
Oh yeah,
yesterday too. So
cool. Yeah, I still gotta do that myself. The Christmas lights. I got a big inflatable Santa that I put in the front yard, and go from there. So, did you do any Black Friday shopping?
Just a little bit, not too much. Mostly just for other people. Nothing for myself. Just out buying Christmas gifts mostly.
Okay, yeah, I bought all Christmas gifts for myself.
Yeah.
Actually, no. What I did stand in line on Thanksgiving evening for the iPad. As some of you know, I actually do a show called iPad 365, which is iPad apps, and I got myself the iPad Air. Of course, I got $100 gift certificates with that standing in line, so I was really happy to do that. And I ended up getting an iPad Air, and everything worked out.
Yeah, how you liking that?
It's a little bit smaller than the other versions of iPad. So with the lighter version, I actually went and bought a case. I had a Zag case, which had a foldable keyboard in it. And which made it heavier, but I like the idea. Just fold it up and put it in the stand and go. And this time I actually just got a regular case, and Jennifer loves it. She basically comes over and says, "Where's the iPad?" And it's like, "It's over there," and that's pretty much it. So she's playing her games on it and having a lot of fun with it. And of course, when I do get it, I work on stuff. But it's a pretty cool little device. So.
Nice.
Do you have an iPad, or are you all Android?
So yeah, I'm actually all Android. So I have an Android tablet and use it and love it. It's great. So whatever works for people. So.
Oh yeah. Well, if I was doing an Android show, I probably would have an Android device, and with my new phone coming in, I'll be more Android-ish, right?
Yeah. You're going to be able to use glass to its full potential now, right?
Well, I have the LG, and I have this LG, which is an Optimus G, but it's not on my network. It's actually on the Sprint network. I got it as a review unit, and I've been using it to show people with glass. But basically what happened was my phone, I have a Windows phone for my regular phone, and it's just, it's Windows 7.8, and apps left and right. LinkedIn, over the weekend, LinkedIn updated their software, and on Windows 7.8, it doesn't work anymore. So it's like, I'm done. I've got to get another smartphone. And I was debating, there were two smartphones that came out. One was the Moto G, and then the Nexus 5. Moto G is like $179, and the Nexus 5 starts at $349, which is great because then you get up into the $600, $700 range for a smartphone. And I was debating whether, because I was this close to actually getting that Moto G. It had enough to enough oomph for everything, but I wanted to make sure that I had that extra oomph for the Google Glass, so I could show people. So, have you seen the Moto G at all there, Luke? Or?
I haven't seen one. We're getting in a couple at work though, so I can do a quick review on one of those sometime. But yeah, it looks like a real decent phone for the price.
Yeah, it's got a Snapdragon 400 as opposed to the 800, 1.2 gigahertz quad core processor. I'm not sure about the screen. Comes in 8 gigabyte and 16 gigabyte models, but it's perfect for a lot of people that just want to do regular stuff, and it's even perfect for people that, like myself, who are in mid-contract and had their phone stolen a few months ago, so they had to worry about what they were going to do for a replacement. But anyway, so that's that. And the funny thing is, they said it was 2 weeks ago, or they said it would be 2 weeks for the Nexus 5 to show up when I ordered it. And I got confirmation on Sunday that it was in mid-shipment, and it just arrived here in Madison tonight. And tomorrow it should probably, while I'm doing my Geek Smack show, they're probably gonna ring the doorbell. And it's like, no, I gotta stop the show. So anyway, so that's what's happening over here at the household. Nexus 5 coming in. I'm going to be more Android than iOS, so you'll be happy about that, Luke. I know that for sure.
Oh, just a little.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. So.
Just a little.
All right. Well, if this is the first time that you've come to the show, thank you guys very much for coming to the show. You can find everything over at twig.tv or This Week in Google Glass. With sticking me with a fork. You get the fork in the, sticking with me for 25 episodes. I mean, that's a pretty good feat. I mean, we've been doing this pretty much, I'd say, we did about 3 times a month. And so, that's big for podcasters to hit those milestones. So 25, we're halfway to 50, and that means 1 year. And then, of course, 100, which is 2 years, episode 100. Will you be ready for episode 100?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. All right. So, and of course, you're looking better, by the way, because we've got you on Skype. For some reason, the Hangouts were always causing problems, and you're actually a little bit blurry now, but it's going to clear up. I know that. But we got you on Skype, so we're trying that out and seeing going from there. Of course, if you want to be a part of the show, all you have to do is let us know, Jeff at twig.tv, Luke at twig.tv, and we'll get you on future episodes. All right, so this week, we've got a lot of stuff here, and we're going to start. I saw this. I was going through Google Plus, and I was going through the community, and Russell Holly posted this. And I'm going to show what this is. Basically, this. You got the same letter in the mail. And I haven't got it. I guess I wasn't one of the originals. But this means that you can now have somebody pay the $1,500 for you through you to get another pair of glass, or you can get another pair of glass.
Yeah, basically, it just unlocks the store so you can go in and buy, anything that you'd like, including another pair of glass. So, it gives a lot of different options.
What are some of the other options then?
So you can also buy the Mono Bud, which I guess is coming in our version 2 of glass. You can also buy the stereo headset to be able to listen to music, or use other things, and shields and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, so it's basically in the store.
So now glass itself is actually in the store as well, and you can pick from all the colors, and get whatever one you want. But again, this is like the people that already have access to it can now go in and buy another pair.
Okay, so basically what you're doing is you're saying, Joe Schmo says, "Hey, I want a pair of glasses." It's like, okay, come over here. Here's my browser. I'll log in and we'll go to the glass page, and then there's the pair of Google Glass. I'll order it that way. You give me $1,500 so I can give Google Wallet $1,500, and then we go from there.
Yeah,
That sound about right?
yeah, yeah. So it's not a way for you to like share out a link and get have someone buy it and directly. They still have to go through you.
Okay. Well, what I don't like about it feels like an affiliate link, and it feels like, hey, if you want a pair of Google Glass, you come through us. But you've also noticed that people have been going to the front page of Google Glass and saying, hey, yeah, I want a pair of Google Glass, and they've been getting pairs of Google Glass.
So they've actually been getting invited into the program. So yeah, we mentioned this, I think, a couple of weeks ago, where they sent out invites, and we, of course, gave some away here. But then after that program was over, they opened up another kind of just form for people to fill out, saying, "Yes, I'm interested in Google Glass." And I've had a few people sign up that way. Or coming off. Now, the price tag is I think the real barrier for most people, but the actual ability to get into the program seems to be opening up pretty wide.
Well, here's what he's talking about.
Thing, but it seems like they're, at least right now, they're inviting a lot of people in. So
That's interesting, and the one thing that I find very interesting about it is the fact that I used to be able to say we have about 12,000 pair of Google Glass out there. When we did the 3 invites, I figured, well, it's about 30 to 40,000. But now with all this information, the lines have pretty much blurred. And so we could, there could be 50,000 pair of Google Glass out there. Could be 100,000 pair of Google Glass out there. I don't know. I'm not feeling as special anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, they do know exactly what number you are. They know kind of when you got into the program.
Yeah.
So like people like me, we got in real early, and they actually had these little glass. I don't know what you call them, like almost desk weights or paper weights, kind of a thing that actually had our individual registration number embedded in them.
Really?
And so, I'll have to bring that on maybe next week or the next time we do a show, and
you've been
show that to people.
You've been holding out on me. You just showed me that glass cup. That was it. Here's the cup we got, and I never got one of those. So I guess I don't rank, but you rank. And that's important.
Oh, I am very ranked.
There you go. Good job. Good job. Well, as us lonely peasants over here that have our pair of Google Glass and did everything. No, I'm kidding. It's cool to actually see that they're really opening it up. But of course, the one thing that I'm really concerned about all of this is, even with the Glass Explorer program, these are still not retail material glass. I mean, I haven't broken I haven't broken a pair of glass in 2 months, so that's kind of cool. But it also hasn't been as humid out there for me to sweat on it to make that happen. Do you think that they're going to run into some bigger problems when maybe the weather starts to warm up again and people start wearing their glasses and breaking them more? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely could be an issue. I think I've said my prediction of, maybe next year at I/O they'll either, give pairs away there, or that's when they'll announce the final date. So we could see the final retail version, and yeah, a lot of what we're saying is kind of conjecture. So it could be that they only are going to do 50,000. Maybe they're going to limit it to 75 or 100,000, which doesn't feel very limited, but in the technology space, when they sell, I don't know what they sell, like 10 million iPhones, opening weekend.
Yeah.
100,000 sounds like a lot, but it's not really that much in a tech world. So, even if they could limit it to something like that, and it may just be that people don't know that it's as easy to get in, or it could be that people have heard how much it costs and just are avoiding it and waiting until the retail one. So,
Yeah, that's probably true. We'll see what happens, and
yeah.
of course, that's what we're here for, to help you with your Google Glass. So if you've got any questions on that, or if you want to, if you've tried this Explorer program that doesn't really work for you, and you want us to help you get a pair of Google Glass, Jeff at twig.tv, of course, Luke at twig.tv, and we'll help you with that and go from there. So, all right, well, let's move on, because we could beat that one with a stick to death and then bring it back to life and beat it with a stick again. So I do have another website. It's called How to Use Google Glass, where I do little tips and tricks on how to use Google Glass. And I posted this one after I heard that it actually happened. And we talked about it for just a few seconds. There are two things that happened today, and the first one was Google posted a new version of the earbud, which is a stereo version of the earbud. You didn't have any problems with it, right?
Not really. It took a little longer to buffer than maybe it would before, or than it does on my phone. But that could just be because it's a different kind of iteration of the app. But yeah, you activate it by you install the glassware kind of through the normal process, and then you just say, "Okay, Glass, listen to," and then you say something out of your library, either an artist or an album or a song, and it basically just does a wide match. And if you've got playlists set up in Google Play Music, it'll pull from those playlists, and so you can start listening to those.
Yeah.
And I think what they're really pushing towards is that Google Play Music All Access, which is like Pandora or Spotify or a whole host of those kind of services where you can basically listen to anything as long as you're paying the monthly subscription fee.
Yeah.
And Google Play Music now has one of those for $10 a month. And so I think that's what they're pushing for. So you can say, "Hey, okay, Glass, listen to," and you can just name whatever song you want or whatever artist you want, and it'll play it'll play that music.
Well, you don't have this. I actually re-signed. I did have the subscription for a little while when it first started. And after a few months, I found to myself, I don't listen to music that much to justify a $10 a month charge for that. So when this came out, I wanted to make sure that I had it all when I started writing the article. So I re-upped the subscription for the month, and I found if I go here, in fact, if I go, there we go. If I go to the music, and I call up the artist, I guess it's not showing up as a screen anymore. But if I go and as it's playing, I can click on it and I can go forward, and all of a sudden there's a radio option in there. And in the radio option, the next song will be a suggested song. So if I'm listening to, I don't know, Katy Perry, it'll figure out similar matches to Katy Perry. And it's not. I don't know if it's creating a channel by any means, but it's definitely doing exactly what Spotify and Pandora, and of course Google Music does for that matter. So little iTunes Radio, and minus the earbuds, because I don't have the earbuds at all. And the one thing that really bothers me is the earbuds off of this service, and that is because the mono earbud is $50, the stereo earbud is $85. And the real customization on the earbuds
spending $85 on a pair of earbuds, or most of the time they're free, or maybe 10, 15, 20 bucks for just kind of a nice simple pair of earbuds, and these are 85. Like, it's definitely a premium. I mean, they have a different connector on them for that micro USB, to plug in, and they're real short cable, so you don't have long cables hanging down all over you or anything like that. So they're nice and all, but they're not exactly complicated. They're just I don't really see the justification for the 85. If it was 35 for the mono and 50 for the stereo, maybe you could, like that would still seem high, but not
as bad, It just seems that everything for Glass is at a premium price. I mean, $1,500 for the Google Glass. Was it $75 for any of the lenses?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and even the case, even that felt case that you can put your glass into, is $50 in itself. And it's just, the prices are just crazy. And how difficult, I don't know how much you work on hardware, but how difficult do you think, because I'm not thinking it's going to be that difficult to actually take a pair of headphones and chop off the 2-pole connector and then just wire it into a mini USB and plug it into your glass. Do you think there's anything else to that, or?
Probably not. I don't know. If I get the schematics, that might be something I could do. I've got extra mini micro USB, and I can probably find an old pair of headphones and we can try soldering something up. And if not, I know that there's some little adapters that basically are for certain cell phones that plug into micro USB and give you just a standard stereo headset out. And so something like that might work. And I think those adapters are $10, maybe. So
I think I'm going to make a trip to Radio Shack tomorrow and see if I can pick something like that up.
Yeah, it's like it'd be worth a shot to see, because I think most people would deal with the extra cable length a little bit if it's going to save you $80.
Well, what's more is you're getting a pair of headphones that you like. Like I have these specialized Sonomax earphones that I got at CES a couple of years ago, and the best part about them is they're custom molded to my ear. And these are custom molds are for musicians. They're usually like almost $1,000 to get them done, and I got it done for free. But most people can get these earphones for like $100 or $200 and do the molding themselves. If I could hook this up into Google Glass, that's going to be a lot better, and it sounds going to have to sound, or I believe it'll sound a lot better than what those would sound like. So, but I'm not sure because I don't have a mono bud or a stereo bud.
Not yet.
We were supposed to be getting our changeovers in November, and here it is, December 2nd. What are your thoughts? I mean, we still haven't even gotten invites to change out our glass. Or do you think that's going to happen? Or?
It's got to happen soon. I would hope before the end of the year, but it does seem kind of strange because now we're running with older sets than people that just got into the program, and so
exactly.
I'd rather, instead of them letting more people in, like swap out everybody that wants it first, because they said they're only going to give us a week or two to kind of decide whether we want to make that swap. So
no, actually, it was a 60-day. If I remember.
Oh, 60 day. Okay.
Was it? Yeah, it was a 60-day thing. But I'd love to get it before I go to CES because I want to have the new version at CES. Because we're going to be doing our live broadcast. For those of you who don't know, I go out to CES with a group over at tpn.tv. We do a full live broadcast, so you can check out interviews and product reviews, that happen on the show floor as we go. And it'd be nice to actually have Google Glass while we're doing that. I would enjoy it at least, so. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll give him a call and say, hey, what the heck's going on here?
Yeah.
Especially you. I mean, you've got more status than I do with the plaques and everything like that. I don't know. All right, well, let's... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I do. You're right. I should be even more upset than you.
I'm gonna make you a Google Glass crown. I'll find a 3D.
I don't think I deserve that.
Yeah, no, I think you do. I think you do. You are the king of Google Glass. We'll make you.
I think that's a generous title.
There you go.
But,
we'll get you a scepter and everything. The robe, and you kind of got the posts in the back. It kind of looks a little bit royalty there.
Yeah, kind of regal back there.
Yeah, very regal. Yeah, definitely. So, all right, let's move on here from that article. We're going over to another article. It's over on NPR.com. Apparently, a Google Glass tester works for Esquire magazine. Ooh, very Esquire. We don't have, casinos don't want you to have Google Glass in there. So basically, what happened, the question was, did you cheat at poker? I mean, explain how you did it. Isn't there some kind of code or conduct? And he goes, well, yes, I did cheat at poker. I'm a terrible poker player. So what I did was I took pictures of my cards, and I sent them to my friend who's an actual a poker player in Las Vegas. He was my poker coach, and he told me what to do. So it's not like he was counting cards or anything like that. He didn't see what everybody else had. He just basically when he flipped up the cards, he just and then sent it to his friend, and went from there. So they went on from that. Pretty interesting conversation. We won't dwell too much on that, but I just wanted to add this one to the thing. So you see, this is kind of like the Kevin Mitnick type of under hacks that you could do. Like my favorite Kevin Mitnick hack is the pizza scheme, where he stands close to the pizza place until somebody walks in, and it walks in with him, so it looks like that he's with them. They order the pizza, and then they take the pizza and they leave, and then he comes back. He calls or something like that and says, "Hey, we were just in, and the pizza was horrible. Can I get a replacement?" And the guy goes, "Yeah," and then he walks in, gets a pizza. So it's kind of like that. In this case, because he's doing something not high tech, but just very simple.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of the same kind of thing you could do with a cell phone. Taking pictures and sending them to people. So glass does make picture taking easier, and so people could definitely do those kinds of things easier. But yeah, it's not really changing or, creating some sort of, card counting or, it's not marking the cards in augmented reality, showing you, oh, well, that's an ace under there or what, it's like, it's not, people have these visions of, amazing things that are happening because of glass. And it's like, well, it's not quite there yet. Maybe someday, but like right now no, people are just taking pictures and sending it to their card playing buddy and saying, hey, what should I do? And, he has enough time as as everybody's going around to get back the message saying, yeah, stick with that, that could be good, or, or bet low now and bet high after, let me see what the next one is and that kind of thing,
Exactly. So, I don't know. It's interesting, and of course, it doesn't sound like it was a high stakes type game or anything like that. Yeah, it's just one of those things. So, hey, just so you know, everybody, apologize. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to bring Luke in. We're using Skype this week, and although your audio is great and you're now synced up with the video, which is awesome, we're getting some blurriness on there, some pixelation. So, I'm going to and of course, I'm using Skype on a Windows machine. I know some people are poo-pooing that right now, but the live tile Skype, it just sucks. So I'm going to try and reload Skype, and we'll try this again next week for hopefully a better screen, a better image that comes through. So, but anyway, let's move on from there. We're talking about USB. We're talking about doing your own hacks to USB. This person, DeQuing Sun, I believe is how you pronounce their name. They did that exact thing by making a flashlight for their Google Glass, and we've got the pictures right here. And basically, what they did, let's flip it over. Here we go. They've got 150. Was it 150 ohm? The first of all, well, no, it's got an LED, and it's got the micro USB, and then a little case, which we're not sure if that person 3D printed or anything like that. And then above it, it's got a little strip, and it says 1500 ohms plus 5% 0805. Now I'm not exactly sure what that means. It must be okay, there it is. LED 150 ohm resistor and a micro USB plug. So that's basically what you need to create this flashlight. And so what he did was he put it all together. Here's the picture of him having it soldered in the USB outside the case. And then of course then he puts it in the case, a little bit of glue. And then that's the finished product right there. The whole idea is that it plugs into, he's showing it plugged into, it looks like a phone or a tablet or something like that. But of course, then it plugs into the Google Glass and it acts as a flashlight. Nothing more. There's no on-off switch. Once it plugs in, it's completely on and stays on from there. Pretty ingenious. When I saw that, I was just shocked, and it makes me wonder what other things we can use the USB port for. I mean,
there's a lot of options, I guess. They actually added USB host into, I forget which version of Android, if it was 3.0, if it was 4.0. And so maybe 3.0, I think. And then, so maybe with the right little dongle, you could actually hook it up and then plug in flash drives or, memory cards or whatever you wanted into glass. But, well,
yeah, I mean, right here, this is the, going back to the iPad, this is the Lightning USB connector. I mean, I suppose we could definitely hook it up as a micro USB, or as you say, get an adapter that could actually hook up or have a regular USB to micro USB connection and see what happens there.
Yeah, I think that it's a lot of options, but it's just it is a really clever way to use that little bit of power that we know is stored in glass, with the battery and everything, and just kind of tap into it. And an LED is drawing so little power that it's not going to just drain the glass real quick or anything. And just a really neat idea, because that's exactly what you need, is a little light just kind of shining out. I would wonder if it shines too much in your eye or what.
Yeah. In that case, I would say yes. It's definitely not the best placed one, but wouldn't it be cool if I could actually do a string of LED lights across, for like the holidays and stuff like that, and they even flash like that?
Yeah, or while you're working on a car or something, and you need some lights kind of pointed forward.
I'm joking. You're actually doing practical applications, so that works. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. So
there are times when you need it. So.
Yeah, and the other thing, what would be really cool is when it gets warmer out, have a little USB fan kind of blowing something in your face. So. There's a lot of good opportunity as long as it's low powered. I mean, it won't be able to power a monitor or anything like that.
Yeah.
But is there? I suppose the only downfall is if you wire this thing incorrectly and push charge instead of pull, right?
Yeah, or short out something. Short the connection and it causes some sort of issue that way, but. It's probably pretty low risk. I do wish it had a little on-off, switch somewhere on it so that you could, just leave it plugged in all the time and then just turn it on when you needed it. But hopefully that's coming in version 2.
Well, this is a do-it-yourself project, so I would say that it's a if you want, you put the switch in yourself and there you have it. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you could even do a pass-through, so you leave that plugged in, and then have the charger plugged in, or something else plugged in after that, like the earbuds. So,
interesting little accessory. So.
Yeah. So anyway, if you want to check out more, we'll have the link. I don't know if it's to his Google Plus profile, so you have to go through another. I'll try and put the pictures up somewhere else if I can, and go from there. So, but if you want to check that out, go over to twig.tv and you'll see the show notes, and you'll be able to click from there. Let's move on from there. This is the big story of the week. And when I went to search for stories for this week's Google Glass, this was the one that popped up 100-fold. Apparently, a patron went into a Seattle bar and with their Google Glass. It was called the 5-Point Cafe. It had a warning inside on their display glass, the front door, that basically said no Google Glass inside the cafe. They wore the Google Glass in. They got, I don't know if they were, how far they went when they were not welcomed in, or told that they had to take them off. And it sounded like this person actually caused a ruckus off of the whole thing. And the patron, Nick Starr, and so he then turned around and he used Facebook to be his sounding board. And the one thing that he said, and I'm going to scroll down here really quick, he shows a bit of the menu, and this is what's really, I think is really, it's really contradictory or hypocritical to this whole thing. And that's this thing right here on the menu. It says you can post your photos on our website via Instagram by using #Lost Lake Cafe. And they have the Facebook and they have the Twitter. So you could take pictures using your phone. You could take video using your phone, and you could post it up. You could do Vines and stuff like that. But you bring a pair of Google Glass in, yeah, you're out of there. I think that's a double standard right there. And moreover, I think the cafe is just looking for some publicity, and they got it because we're talking about it. Yeah. So what are your thoughts, Luke, on this whole thing, especially because prescriptions are going to come out? There's going to be no way that some people, they won't be able to see if they take off their Google Glass. Yeah.
I do think it is probably to stir up some buzz. I agree with you. It seems a little odd to promote people posting to Instagram, which is a photography site, right? So I don't think anyone just posts text to Instagram. It's all about posting pictures. So if you don't want people taking pictures, or what does he think Glass does that is different than a cell phone taking pictures? So I don't know. I'm very confused. But one thing that I read on one of the articles was this is the same guy, or the manager of this establishment is the manager of the other establishment that made in Seattle that said, we're banning glass from our bar. That they're actually owned or managed by the same people. I forget what the exact tie is, but they said there's it's a similar relation. So it's like that one guy is like basically making a big stink about it as much as he can. Yeah.
He probably doesn't get into the glass explorers, and he's all upset.
Yeah.
They didn't give my glass. Now I don't want your glass. Yeah, I don't want it. So anyway, The interesting thing is, in the article, NPC Magazine also states public accommodation laws in most states, including California, prevent businesses from using a person's race, sex, or even height and weight to turn them away from for assuming they will not pay. But anything else is at discretion. And there are some situations. I'll tell you a story. Years ago, a local bar, doesn't exist here in Madison anymore. Pregnant woman walked in, and the bartender refused service to the pregnant woman. And in a bar, they are pretty much, we can refuse, the law states we can refuse you for any reason that's not a race or sex or anything like that. But he refused because she was pregnant. She was like 8-9 weeks pregnant, and she wanted to actually have an actual drink, and they got sued because of it. And the woman won, but the bar, they were fine with that. It's like, we didn't serve her, and we're happy to not have served her. So, and of course there was some publicity on that, but it's just amazing. I think that otherwise, a bar can actually literally refuse you for almost anything. As for a restaurant, if I have, once again, I have a pair of Google Glass and I have prescription lenses on, especially if I have prescription lenses on, and you refuse me, I think that would kind of fall in there, because I can't take my Google Glass off because I won't be able to see. I mean, wouldn't you agree on that?
Yeah, it feels like, I know it's probably not, but something like the, ADA or something of like, well, if you won't let me wear corrective lenses in your restaurant, like, feels like you're violating something there. It's kind of like, we went to a restaurant this weekend, and they had a nice sign on the front door. It said, no animals allowed except service, animals, dogs and stuff like that, because that would be wrong of them to say, we're not going to let that dog come in because we don't want animals in our store, even though you need that animal to help guide you around. It's like they make those exceptions, and so it's that I could definitely see that of like, we don't want to we don't want glass, but if you're wearing a prescription, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. And I think the bar, like you said, maybe they have a little more leniency with those kind of rules because that story was really about privacy. He said, hey, this is kind of an exclusive bar, and we don't want the celebrities that come here to feel like they're being gawked at, so we don't want cell phones in here, and we don't want people taking pictures of other people who come to the bar, so we don't want glass because it's too easy to take pictures and all that kind of stuff. And so it's like, you can give them a little bit of leniency of like, okay, it's kind of like a casino or some of those places where maybe they want to restrict it. But, just a regular restaurant, especially a restaurant that encourages people to take pictures of their food, it just feels so like, okay, now you just hate glass. Like, it's not
exactly.
There's no logic there.
Exactly. And I think he just did it for the publicity. And like I said, he's got the publicity. I mean, we're talking about how he's lost lakecafe.com. So, all proceeds, 10% of proceeds can come to me. Just saying, somebody buys a pie, that's only a dime. You can bring that to me if you want to. So, I don't know. It's I would have. You're right. If it was a place where Charlie Sheen ate, and they said no Google Glass because, and if I met Charlie Sheen and said, hey, that's Google Glass, and go, yeah, and he goes, can you put it on your forehead? I'd be like, okay, here you go. And that's it. I'm done with it. I don't mean, if anybody asks me to not have it on, I will take it off. Now, the only exception, let's say I'm at CES or something like that. And, I'm going to be wearing my glass during CES, and I'm walking around and somebody says, hey, can you take that off? It's like, no, we're in a public place. I can wear Google Glass in this public place. I can do that. If I walk into one of these private meeting rooms or something like that, and they say, hey, can you take Google Glass off? That's a yes, because they rented out that room. But in the public general hall, if somebody says, I don't want you to wear Google Glass, so sad, too bad. That's not the rule here. But
aren't there like 1,000 other cameras all running constantly?
Yeah. Yes. I'm given a very generic term, but same thing with this restaurant. It's a public restaurant, and I don't know. It's just I think he's going to lose the fight ultimately, and concede when especially in Seattle. I mean, you have California, San Francisco, L.A., Austin, Texas, Chicago, New York, and Seattle. And I mean, these are all startup places. These are all places where new technology just thrives. And there's no way in God's green earth that when Seattle starts to show at least a 5% market of Google Glass in there, that he'll be able to ban Google Glass from Seattle. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So... Yeah. I don't know. What's everybody else's thoughts out there in Google Glass world? You can let us know. You can email us at jeff@twig.tv. Of course, Luke at twig.tv, and then Geekazine and Luke are our Twitter handles. Feel free to just chime in. There's also comments section over at thisweekingoogleglass.com. Just chime in what your thoughts are, and we'll talk about it once again next week if we get enough emails off of that. So, but. Yeah, very, very disappointing, but it sounds more like a publicity thing. All right, let's move on. Last article of the day. Excuse me. We talk about wearable technology, and I've got Google Glass on right here. This is a Fitbug Orb, and this is a little device that tracks my steps and tracks my sleep cycle and stuff like that. So I'm kind of using wearable technology. They're talking about wearable technology in the clothes, especially workout clothes and stuff like that. But what about on top of your head? You have the points where you lose heat the most. The wrists, the neck, the feet, and the top of the head is one of them. And so Sony said, well, okay, well, we've got the answer for you. We know how to do that. And that's through here. Their wearable technology that they've patented is called the Sony Wig or something like that. And inside the wig has sensors, and that's what they have a patent for, the sensors inside of a wig, and that wig will then be placed on top of your head. The sensors, right now they haven't figured out what the sensors are going to do. They could measure how hot your head gets. They could measure, they could be like an EEG or something like that and measure brain waves eventually. But it really doesn't matter. It's just, hey, we've got a wig with sensors in it. And that's going to be the next big thing. I know I need one. Luke, do you need one, a wig with sensors?
My hair, I mean, it's not, real thick and luxurious, but, I don't think I'm really to the stage of needing a wig yet. So it's not really something that I'm looking for real soon, but maybe a hat with the sensors in it. I could see something like that. You're outside, you're running. You want to keep track of body temperature and things like that, and maybe the outdoor temperature. And I could see sensors being up here as a useful thing, but the actual wig. No, not for me.
Not so much. And you hit on a perfect point. I mean, personally, I shave because I want to. If you see pictures of me with hair, which I could literally grow. I mean, how long did it take to grow this beard? That's pretty much how long it's going to take me to grow back a head of hair. And yeah, I do have a little bald spot up here. I mean, but my family history has pretty much been good, thick, long hair. So a little bit of receding line, but I'll still have a good set of hair at the end of the thing. I won't need a wig. So I'm not exactly sure why they're doing this with the wig. You're absolutely right. It should have been a hat, unless somebody else actually did that with the hat. So they just wanted to do that with the wig. So just interesting little facts there. I was reading on this. This is articles over at theguardian.com. And it's interesting what patents today. Now they patented it in 2012 and it got published last month. And so I don't know, is there going to be a big call for wigs? The only thing that I could think of this being a great idea is you have a cancer patient and they want to look normal. So, you have wigs for that, and they're made out of human hair and stuff like that. The sensors can then monitor what's going on in the patient while they're getting treated for cancer and hopefully beating cancer. So that's the only thing I could think of.
It's a great use case.
Yeah. But right now it's just basically we got a sensor and a wig, and we're going to patent it.
Yeah, like that's doesn't seem specific enough. It seems like you got to have what kind of sensors or
we call those trolls, and we're dealing with a lot of trolls in podcasting right now. And to see Sony do this is pretty interesting, and I don't know. We'll see what happens, but just really cool. It's all about wearable technology, and this kind of fell off the whole Google Glass thing. Yes and no, but it's just a little interesting. If you want to read more, like I said, I'll get the link in the show notes and go from there. So, all right. Well, that does it for this episode. Luke, anything you want to add to the show, or?
No, I'm thinking I should go patent sensors in hats and socks, belts. Just just mash it together. Just sensor and then something, and just patent that, and then say, hey, if somebody ever puts a sensor in a belt, or a sensor in a sock, hey, I had the patent on that. So
all right, so we're gonna censor everything, and then we're gonna go to Seattle to that bar and say, hey, look at all the sensors we have. You only got one sensor. Look at our sensors. So
sense his face, or his fist in your face. Yeah.
Anyway, can you do that too? Yeah. Let's do that double gun thing. All right, so now that we've done that, we're going to conclude this episode of This Week in Google Glass. Once again, program note, next week is it next week we're doing a show? No, next week we're not doing a show.
I think next week I know I won't be able to.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I could do a show, but then I'd be all by myself. And so we were going to do a show in 2 weeks, And then we're going to take our winter solstice break and for a few weeks as I go to CES and check out the new technology. And then we're going to be back in mid-January, I think the second or third week of January, and then we'll be back with Google Glass. So 1 week off, and then 3 weeks off, and then of course we'll start season 2 of This Week in Google Glass, episode number 27 at that point. So you really excited about episode 27?
Oh, it'll be great. It'll be great. I can't wait to see. I mean, that's going to be a nice break. We'll have Christmas and New Year's, so we should have lots of great pictures, videos, and probably a whole lot more news from the Glass team.
Exactly. So, Luke, why don't you tell everybody where to find you?
Yeah, so Luke Luca over on Twitter, or email me at luke@twig.tv. That's TWIGG.tv, or thisweekingoogleglass.com. And just keep in touch. And you can also find me on Google Plus. It's google.com/plus Luke Wallace, and that'll take you to my Google Plus page. And I've got a big album there with hundreds of pictures taken with glass and videos and everything. So, reach out to me on there and tag me in some posts and let me know what you're doing with it.
All right. And of course, I'm over at geekazine.com. Think magazine, put in a geek. You've got Geekazine. Jeff at twig.tv. And of course, my Google Plus profile is not only plus Jeffrey Powers. You can also find it at plus This Week in Google Glass, plus Geekazine, and many different other ways. And of course, you just find me. I'm everywhere. And maybe you'll like that or not. I don't know. We'll have sensors on our heads, and we'll be ready for the wearable technology apocalypse, as I'm calling it right now, because I just thought of it. Mm-hmm. That'd be fun. So, anyway, for Luke Wallace, my name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching This Week in Google Glass. We will see you in 2 weeks with another episode of This Week in Google Glass. Take care.